Hello guys, welcome to or back to my channel. I am so thankful you guys clicked on this video today. We are going to be talking all things health, wellness, taking care of yourself, which are things that I am very excited about in this time of life. So I'm going to be sharing my top 5 tips to a healthier lifestyle. So take everything I say with a grain of salt because everyone can be a little bit different about the best way to take care of themselves, the best way for them to be healthiest, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. So this is just what works for me and what I have found that works, that I can maintain, and I feel like I can maintain throughout my whole life. So let's get on into it, shall we? So the first tip I'm going to share with you guys is to eat real foods as much as possible. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, real foods? What do you mean by real foods? So what I mean by real foods is just things that naturally come from our earth. Things that aren't processed in a packing plant or a giant factory. Just things that God made for us to eat. And that's vegetables, fruits, beans, meats, nuts, all those kinds of things that we were made to eat and humans have eaten since the world was a thing. So, again, that's kind of hard to do in today's world where we go out to eat, food is packaged, there's so many different types of food, but it's good to keep this just your main source of food. It's not going to be 100%, there's going to be weeks where it's harder, weeks where you need something convenient and on the go and you just can't eat real foods as much, but it's a good thing to just keep in the back of your mind as I'm choosing my food, choosing my meals, I'm going to go for the option that has real good nutrient dense food first, and then maybe other things not as much, but like I try and follow that about 80-20 if possible. My second tip is to read the labels. And I know that can be kind of a cliche tip, but honestly guys, it's kind of mind-blowing when you start reading the labels. At first I was kind of like overwhelmed by how much crap is in some food, and I was like, oh gosh, I've been eating this is so bad. But I think it's a really good thing to not be too hard on yourself. Just take it one step at a time. For example, I used to eat ketchup with a lot of different stuff, and I realized what was in ketchup, and I try and only eat it on special occasions now when I'm maybe eating Chick-fil-A or out for a fun dinner with some french fries and a burger, something like that. Not something I want to include in my everyday eating. So read the labels. If you can't pronounce it or don't know what the heck it is,
What?
stay away, girl. Stay away. The third one kind of is connected to my number 1 tip, and number 3 is to eat real foods more often. And this is a little bit more specialized or specific to me maybe, and this is kind of something you have to figure out for yourself what works best. But for me, it's best to eat 3 meals with 2 or 3 snacks. And with that being said, maybe 3 smaller meals with 3 snacks throughout the day. And I've just found when I'm working out and eating nutrient-dense food, I get hungry more often. So it's not realistic for me to eat breakfast, wait until lunch, wait all the way till dinner. I just feel like I kind of have to keep eating throughout the day. But with that being said, you have to make sure you are eating nutrient-dense food because that's really what's going to fuel your body. For me, that has helped me feel less sleepy throughout the day. When I'm eating good nutrient-dense food more often, my energy levels are higher, I feel better, I want to do more throughout the day. So you figure out what works best for you, but that is my number 3. Eat better, more real foods more often. Number 4 is to walk more often. And I feel like I have totally underestimated the power of a good walk. I used to not really walk as much, and about this spring I started walking more seriously. Like I would walk almost every morning just because it was such a good way to wake up. I would listen to, and still do, I either listen to a podcast or some really good worship music. Sometimes if it's a little bit more low intensity, I'll bring my coffee with me. It's just a really good way to get your body moving, start the day right, get some fresh air and sunshine, and honestly, it's a really good mental and spiritual thing for me to have that quiet time with God or listen to a really life-giving podcast, but it's also been really good physically for me. I feel like it's something I look forward to physically. Obviously, it's not the most hard, demanding workout ever, but it feels really good to just get your body moving. And I'll do that even if I am lifting. I maybe won't do the cardio at the gym that I would normally do, but that's okay because I totally love walking my dog way more than I would love running on a treadmill inside, if that makes sense. So, you guys should try it. It's seriously so awesome. I love walking. My 5th tip is to lift weights. So again, this one's a little bit more specific towards me and what I've found that works best for me. So maybe to change the tip if you're like, I'm not a fan of lifting, is just to find a workout you're passionate about. But what I kind of wanted to share about lifting that has changed for me is I used to be that girl that viewed lifting as, if I lift heavy weights multiple times a week, I'm going to get super bulky and have a male body type and all these ridiculous things that are not true. If you've ever been told that, it's not true. So I started lifting more seriously about a year and a half ago. I had to lift in high school for volleyball, but it was more Olympic style lifting, which is quite a bit different than what I do now. And I never was a huge fan of it, but I had found so many good free online resources about a year and a half ago when I first started to realize, okay, I don't play high school sports anymore. I gotta figure out a workout that works for me. And honestly, I love it. I feel like it's been such a good thing to, first of all, become mentally more strong. Lifting weights is hard both physically and mentally, and it's been like a fun competition with myself to push myself both mentally and physically to get stronger, which I have loved. And I've also loved physically what's happened. I've always been pretty naturally lean and skinny, kind of had a hard time getting strong or gaining muscle. It's just been really rewarding to see how much more mentally and physically strong I've gotten over the last year and a half, and I honestly love it. I feel like I learned so much more about working out because I've researched lifting, and if you are trying to make the muscle gains, girls, try lifting. I promise you will not get bulky and huge and look like a dude. It's actually so good for you, and there's so many awesome benefits. There's so many like lifelong benefits to lifting too. So if you're interested in lifting, you should totally try it. Make sure you're doing the form right, do your research, but it's seriously such a great exercise. So my 5th tip would be find a workout that works for you. Mine is lifting, but you gotta find what works for you. Those are my top 5 tips for a healthier lifestyle. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this kind of video, let me know. I love talking about this kind of stuff. Comment below what your favorite tip was, or if you're gonna try one of these tips. I wanna know what you guys think of the tips and if they're helpful to you. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!